Show, the best oldies on the radio. I was expecting some Westwood One to come in there right there, but it did not. So we have a couple minutes to play with. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of sports. We've got a couple minutes to do some sports. Are you a football fan? Because I am a football fan. And when I say football, I'm talking about, the one across the pond. Arsenal, are you an Arsenal fan? They've signed Chelsea's Raheem Sterling on a season-long loan. Arsenal have signed Chelsea forward Raheem Sterling on loan for the rest of the season. The club confirmed Friday Sterling has 3 years remaining on his current contract at Chelsea, but had been deemed surplus to requirements at Stamford Bridge. Now, if you don't know, Chelsea has like 48 first-team players. The Dodgers whoever owns the Dodgers have purchased Chelsea, and they decided just to buy everybody and their mother, and so they just have all these players laying around. Arsenal will be one of them that picks up some of those extra ones. That's pretty good. After previously being linked with Man United, Sterling completed his move to Arsenal just before the close of the summer transfer window. The deal for Sterling came as ESPN reported that Chelsea had agreed to sign Man United winger Jadon Sancho on loan. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta distanced the club from a move from Sterling last week, despite speaking positively about his character after the pair worked together for 3 years at Manchester City. So, there's going to be a lot of people moving around in the next couple of days. In fact, I think today is the window closes. If you don't know what the window is, you can trade people, you can move them around all you want, but until the midnight hour of today, I believe, you can't move anymore. It's like a trade deadline, I suppose, but it's called the transfer window. And I think that's enough for where the Westwood One was supposed to be. Let's go ahead and move on. I do have some filler here. At this point, this is where Carol Buckley would have a little bit of banter with whoever's in the back there. But since it's just me, you and I will talk. Did you know, this is a very sad story, but my mom and I talked in length about this. Officials in Arizona investigating the death of a Wells Fargo employee who scanned into her office on Friday morning and was found dead at her desk 4 days later. That's right, 4 days later. According to local outlets, authorities said 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme entered her Wells Fargo office building located on the 1100 block of West Washington Street in Tempe, Arizona at 7 a.m. on 16th of August. On the 20th of August, building security called officials regarding a subject down. Arizona Family Reports, speaking anonymously to 12 News, an employee said that a colleague, while walking around the building, found Prudhomme dead in her cubicle. Upon arrival at the scene, officials pronounced Prudhomme dead at 4:55 p.m., which is amazing. I mean, I realize that this Saturday and Sunday, so nobody's in the office at all, but all day Friday and all day Monday, nobody noticed her at all. That's too bad. There's a movie we talked about, I think it's called Dreams of a Life, where a young British woman was found dead 2 years after she had passed in her apartment. 2 years. It's kind of amazing. By the way, NASA makes room on SpaceX trip to return astronauts stuck in orbit. NASA on Friday cut 2 astronauts from the next crew to make room on the return trip for the 2 stuck in the International Space Station. NASA's Nick Hague and the Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gurbanov will launch in September on board a SpaceX rocket for the orbiting laboratory. The duo will return with Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore in February. NASA decided it was too risky for Williams and Wilmore to fly home in their Boeing Starliner capsule, marred by thruster troubles and helium leaks. That's kind of amazing. Bump from the SpaceX flight. The NASA astronauts Zena Carmen and Stephanie Wilson, NASA said they could fly on future missions. The space agency said it took into account space flight experience and other factors in making the decision. After the shuttles retired, the U.S. relied on Russia to ferry crews to the space station until SpaceX began taking astronauts in 2020. The 2 countries have continued to trade seats. Next month, NASA's Don Pettit will be launching to the space station, while NASA's Tracy Dyson will be returning to Earth on Russian capsules. And, I guess we still get along once we get past the toposphere. It's amazing. And by the way, they said humans can communicate with dogs using soundboards, these little buttons that the dogs push, and they say, like, hungry, outside, sushi, whatever the dogs say. Of course, a dog can hear. So, I mean, this is not the biggest of deals, but using the soundboard, I think that some people get too excited. I don't think the dog can say, listen, I am sad because you put the pie on the table where I cannot reach it. It feels a little obscure and strange. Go ahead and Let's go ahead and move on to some celebrity birthdays as I count down my little clock here. August 31st, singer Van Morrison, 79. Van Morrison, 79. Violinist Ishtak Perlman is 79. Guitarist Rudolf Schenker of Scorpions is 76. Scorpions, are you Scorpions fan? I love Scorpions. Actor Richard Gere, 75. Actor Stephen Henderson from Fences, Manchester by the Sea is also 75. Drummer Gina Shock of the Go-Go's is 67. Singer Glenn Tilbrook of Squeeze is also 67. Tony DeFranco, the DeFranco family, 65. Let's see what we got. Jamie P. Gomez from Nash Bridges, 59. And guitarist Jeff Russo of Tonic is 55. Tonic, who is that? And lastly, actor Zach Ward from A Christmas Story and Titus is also 54. Let's go ahead and take a break, and I will return. We'll do some local birthdays after this.
Burritos, tacos, menudo, and don't forget their award-winning ceviche. Head to Rosa's Plain Food at the Valley Plaza in El Centro. Next to the Skechers store, Rosa's has been serving since 1988. Open every day except Monday. They offer dine-in, carry-out, and even catering. Rosa's Plain Food, where flavor takes flight.
How about a happy birthday to Adela Provencio, Sam Perez, Eric Torres, Joel Pacheco, Natalie Green, Hilda Baeza, Celia Felix Amasquita, Tamara DeVault, Dr. George Farid, Diane Cruz, Giselle Hunt, Vincent Payares, Ricardo Beltran Jr., Christina Lomax, Rosa Juarez, Eloida Cruz, Gracie Lopez, Liliana Cianez, Ramona Ramirez, Amanda Gonzalez, Rosa Ruiz, and Vanessa Arbarza. Happy birthday to you from all of us here at KXO. Yes, happy birthday to everyone out there. We're going ahead and fill up some more room until a few more minutes. I'm going to go back to some sports. There's a lot of U.S. Open happening right now. Are you a tennis fan? Right now, American Taylor Fritz eases into the U.S. Open round of 16. Taylor Fritz, the highest seeded American men's player at number 12. That's our highest seeded guy. Advanced to the U.S. Open round of 16 on Friday. Fritz took down Argentina's Francisco Comensana 6-3, 6-4, and 6-2. In doing so, Fritz became the first American man to make the round of 16 at all four majors in a year since Andre Agassi did in 2003. As Fritz was finishing up play, and Louis Armstrong, fellow Americans Ben Shelton, number 13, and Francis Tiafoe, number 20, were locked in a 5-set battle. Now, Tiafoe did eventually beat Ben Shelton's big serve and played brilliantly at the net to win their All-American rematch at the U.S. Open 4-6, 7-5, 6-7, 6-4, 6-3. What a battle. A year ago in New York, Tiafoe was eliminated by Shelton in 4 sets in the quarterfinals. The year before that, Tiafoe, who loves the tournament spotlight and his electricity, defeated Rafael Nadal on the way to the U.S. Open semifinal. That's interesting. Are you a tennis fan? I watch it sometimes, but not completely. But anyway, what else are we doing right now? Let me look at my notes here. Let's go ahead and read this sponsor. World and California news headlines are brought to you by the Imperial County Air Pollution Control District, delivering real-time updates about the air that you breathe. And my apologies, I believe this is the right channel.
Yes, News Brief. The UN is launching a massive campaign to vaccinate children in Gaza against polio. CBS's MT has tie-up with more.
The announcement was made after little Abdul Rahman Al-Jaydan was diagnosed with the first case of polio in Gaza in over a quarter century. At just 11 months old, he's now paralyzed for life in his left leg.
It's a busy holiday weekend as people take to the roads and skies for Labor Day, but there's weather. Kelly Cass at the Weather Channel.
Severe weather could upend outdoor plans in some parts of the country this extended holiday weekend. A dangerous heat wave is gripping the Northwest, and thunderstorms are expected from the Gulf Coast to the Mid-Atlantic, including in central Pennsylvania.
Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump isn't worried about women voters despite his recent comments about abortion.
Somebody said women don't like Donald Trump. I said, I think that's wrong. I think they love me.
CBS News Brief.
And the Imperial County Air Pollution Control District delivers real-time information about the quality of the air you breathe. Visit the website at apcd.imperialcounty.gov. Non-Discrimination.org to stay informed about air quality around the valley. The website also includes information for upcoming meetings, programs, and there's access to the dust cams set up around the valley. Visit apcd.imperialcounty.org today.
California headline news. A married couple in their 70s who disappeared from their home at a news ranch in South California is dead, and their neighbor, 62-year-old Michael Sparks, is under arrest. Authorities are looking for the remains of Daniel and Stephanie Menard at the home of the suspect.
We are conducting a search using cadaver dogs and search teams. We believe the bodies are on his property.
The fast food chain Shake Shack is closing 6 of its California locations, with owners hinting that a $20 an hour minimum wage was too much. Tom Manzo, who heads the California Business and Industrial Alliance, opposes the higher minimum wage.
No matter how the governor's office tries to spin the numbers, we continue to read about people getting laid off.
California health officials are keeping an eye on a new strain of COVID that has started in Germany and is even more contagious than the current strain, but they say it's months away from reaching high levels of infection. Mike Salceda, California Headline News.
World California News headlines have been brought to you by the Imperial County and Air Pollution Control District. Log on to imperialvalleyair.org for real-time information about the air you breathe.
They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 42%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We now have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network. And for less than $30 a month, we make your phone your ride or die. Switch now and pick a free 5G phone with qualified plan purchase. And your fourth line at no additional cost. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
California headline news. In the months following the death of a Caltrans worker, the agency is making drivers aware of a California law that requires drivers to avoid work zones.
The move over law requires drivers to move over a lane when it's safe to do so, or to slow down to a responsible speed when passing vehicles with flashing amber lights.
Wayne Wilson is the Highway Safety Education Campaign Manager for Caltrans, and he says those include Caltrans vehicles, emergency vehicles, and tow trucks. Mike Salceda, California headline news.
Page 1 of the local news is the service of El Centro Motors, Quick Lane Tire, and Auto Centers with 3 locations to serve you at El Centro Motors in the Brawley Auto Center at Highway 86 and Julia Drive and at the Imperial Valley Mall. Let's go ahead and do some local news. A new security director at IVC. IVC adding security enhancements. A major part of that is hiring a new security director. Valerie J. Hudson has been appointed the new director of Risk, Security, and Safety at Imperial Valley College. The Board of Trustees approved the appointment on August 21st to further enhance campus security. The college is making a significant investment in upgrading its video surveillance system. The $421,000 project, managed by Pixabytes Solutions Incorporated, received approval on October 18, 2023. This upgrade introduces advanced technology to critical areas across the campus, significantly improving the monitoring and security of the college community. 115 new cameras were installed in strategic areas to cover both exterior and interior locations. Also among the improvements, the college is providing unarmed security patrol services, motion sensor lighting, and much, much more. Also, there was a 2-vehicle collision, a collision reported on Interstate 8. The California Highway Patrol responded to the report at 10 Friday morning. The CHP responded to the scene at eastbound Interstate 8, east of Meyer Creek. They found an injured male inside of one of the vehicles. An ambulance was called to transport the man to a hospital. The extent of the injuries is unknown. Not many details have been released. The Highway Patrol says the incident is under investigation. KXL News Time, 7:42.
Before you head out on the road, head into El Centro Motors Quick Lane Tire and Auto Centers. Ask for the works. Trained technicians will change the oil using up to 6 quarts of synthetic blend oil. Change the filter, rotate the tires, top off the fluids, check the belts, hoses, battery, and brakes, all for one low price. It's the works at Quick Lane Tire and Auto Centers, at El Centro Motors, the Imperial Valley Mall, and the Brawley Auto Center, or with their new mobile service wherever you are.
And now more local news here. IAD Board meets Tuesday. The Imperial Irrigation District Directors meet Tuesday afternoon. The regular meeting begins open session at 1 p.m. The meeting begins with a presentation from the county on Lithium Valley Specific Plan /PEIR. Service awards will be presented to 17 employees, and the team of the month for September 2024 will be introduced. The only action item is the adoption of a resolution regarding the mitigation at the Managed Marsh Complex Phase 3 project. There will be no informational items on the agenda. Following staff reports, the board will convene closed sessions to discuss anticipated litigation. If any action is taken, it will be announced after the closed session. And the students' production on YouTube, Spartan Sound Productions, has produced a podcast available on the Kxo YouTube channel. Spartan Sound Productions is the audio music production program at Central under the direction of Dr. Thomas Tackey, CUHS music teacher. The podcast currently on YouTube is Inside the Blue Zone, Episode 1. It features Spartan student athletes introducing themselves and talking about their experiences and goals. It's a great listen, and it's free on the Kxo YouTube channel. There will be student productions from Spartan Sound Productions on our YouTube channel and on Kxo FM 107.5 and AM 1230. That is page 1 of the local news. It has been a service of Quick Lane Tire and Auto Centers with 3 locations to serve you. Quick Lane service makes all models, and you'll never need an appointment. Now, we'll be back after this.
Stan's Auto Body, a name you've heard of and a name you can trust. Bo and his team have been serving his customers at Stan's Auto Body for many years now. His mission to be recognized as a premier provider of auto body repair services and working closely with you and your insurance company on your collision repair. They're committed to delivering you superior quality and customer service by exceeding your expectations. So if the unfortunate happens to you or you need some dents fixed, don't hesitate and call Stan's Auto Body or stop by 1880 West Euclid Avenue in El Centro.
Time for our page 2. Stay tuned. Local news page 2 brought to you by Burgers and Beers, serving the best burgers in town with daily lunch specials Monday through Friday and happy hour 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day. Every day, daily. Right now, they know it's Labor Day weekend. Starting today, the 3-day weekend marks the end of summer, if you say so. Labor Day weekend traditionally means backyard barbecues and family fun. It also means off-roading. Labor Day weekend is one of the top off-road weekends of the year, behind New Year's and Thanksgiving. The desert population grows into the tens of thousands, sometimes even more. The California Highway Patrol and other law enforcement entities are out in force in an attempt to keep the roadways safe. Monday, Labor Day, means government offices, banks, schools, and more are closed. Emergency responders are, of course, available. And it's dove season to open. The 2024 dove season opens on Sunday. That's tomorrow. And typically, thousands of hunters anxious to get their limit of the birds invade the Imperial Valley. This year, the weather should cooperate in making it a successful season. According to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, Southern California and especially Imperial County contain prime dove habitat. CDFW noted that the Imperial Wildlife Area, the Palo Verde Ecological Reserve, and Imperial County upland game fields planted and harvested with seeds and grains favored by doves and provided by CDFW and partners. The early season begins on Sunday, September the 1st, and continues until September the 15th. The second half of the season runs from November 9th through December 23rd. Hunters can target mourning and white-winged doves. There is a daily bag limit of 15, of which 10 may be white wings. There are no limits on spotted dove and ringed turtle doves. Hunting the invasive Eurasian collared dove is open year-round with no bag limit. Hunters are encouraged to review all CDFW rules, get permission from property owners, and clean up after yourself. Be back after this.
Did you know that Burgers and Beer has happy hour every day from 3 to 6 with specials on select appetizers, beer specials, and more? Ask for drink specials all day with $5 drinks like Margarita Monday, Tonic Tuesday, Wine Down Wednesday, and Thirsty Thursday. Check out our weekly lunch specials with a soft drink starting at only $8.50. Specials include Bud bottles for only $4.50. Burgers and Beer with 5 locations proudly serving you, your family, and friends since 1985. Burgers and Beer for the best burger in town.
Let's go ahead and move on to some weather. Today, by the National Weather Service, according to them, it's going to be a drier air mass next week. We'll shut off thunderstorm chances across the entire region, with dry conditions prevailing. Above normal temperatures will persist through the next several days. Actually, not really getting too hot until next weekend, with excessive heat conditions likely to materialize heading towards the latter half. That's what I just said of next week, as high pressure strengthens over the desert southwest. Now, this is a little bit like Groundhog Day. Are you ready? Today, sunny and hot, high near 110. For tonight, mostly clear with a low around 85. For Sunday, sunny and hot with high near 110. Sunday night, low of 85. Labor Day, sunny and hot and low of 85. Yep, it's about the same. There's no wind in sight. It's just going to be kind of mildly warm, typical weather for us as we enter into September. September is usually a little hot. Right now it's 72 degrees in Campo, 82 degrees in Nyland, 84 degrees in Yuma, where I'm sitting right now. It's 82 degrees. The wind out of the east-northeast at 2 miles per hour, maybe up to 4 miles per hour, 41% humidity. And our air quality is pretty good. Right now, KXO News Time is 7:48. This local news, page 2, and weather brought to you by Burgers and Beer, the place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Bring the family or meet your friends at Burgers and Beer. Be back after this.
San Diego, it's the Ford Labor Day Sell-a-thon. 6 days of the biggest savings on an incredible selection. So visit your San Diego County Ford dealers now through September 3rd and get great offers across the lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Like the built Ford Tough F-150 truck, part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 47 years and counting. Or the adventure-ready Ford Bronco Sport, with GOAT modes to help you conquer the great outdoors. And check out the always electrifying Ford Mustang Mach-E with 0 to 60 thrills and 0 emissions. It's the Ford Labor Day Sell-a-thon, and it's your chance to save. Whether it's gas, hybrid, or all-electric, now's the best time to get behind the wheel of your brand-new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. But hurry, these offers absolutely end September 3rd. So go to your San Diego County Ford dealers today, based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
All offers valid at Imperial County Ford dealers.
The Stuff vs. Sports World Roundup, brought to you by Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District, affiliate of the Scripps Health Network, working together to provide you the best care. Let's do some sports. Let's do some baseball. The Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks in Arizona 10-9, which helps both the Dodgers and the Padres. The Padres did win yesterday against, I want to say, the Devil Rays of Tampa Bay. That's right. They crushed them 13-5. I actually watched the highlights of that this morning before I left. And so right now, as it speaks, let's talk about just the National League. Of course, 6 teams make the playoffs. Unfortunately, that first round, which I'm not a big fan of, it is what it is. The first round is a best of 3. That's all it is. So if you're in that first round, anything can happen. And as it is right now, the Padres would visit Arizona for that best of 3. Right now, they have a 1,000th of a point better winning percentage, 76 and 59 over the Padres 77 and 60. They played 2 games less than we have. But the Dodgers are the 1 seed right now with the 600 percentage winning. 81 and 54 is pretty good. The Phillies, they're 2 seed, the Brewers 3, and the Braves and the Mets are fighting for that 6th seed in the National League. And for the American League, the Yankees are starting to pull away from the very young Baltimore Orioles and that 1 seed, and the 2 seed, the Cleveland Guardians, the Guardians of Cleveland. Those 2 would get that first round bye. The 3 seed right now would be the Astros of Houston for Baltimore, and then 5 and 6 would be the Royals and the Twins. It's coming up. It's almost here right now. Right now, we also have what's happening is college football is starting today. There's a lot of preseason stuff, but I don't really read too much into it. But we mentioned this, Pitt leading rusher Rodney Hammond Jr., he's declared ineligible. Pitt running back Rodney Hammond Jr. has been declared ineligible for the 2024 season. The school announced on Friday there was no reason given. Hammond remains a member of the team and is allowed to practice. Hammond was the returning starter at running back after leading the team last season with only 564 yards and 4 touchdowns. Not great. On Thursday, Coach Pat Narduzzi said Desmond Reed, a whole different guy I've never heard of, would be the starting running back there. Be back after this message.
Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District, ready to serve you and your family for all of your healthcare needs. Let our team of dedicated physicians guide you on your journey to better health. Pioneers is a recognized leader in healthcare and has more than 10 health centers and clinics throughout the Imperial Valley. When the need arises, don't hesitate to come and see us. We have services and locations at Lexico and Raleigh, and of course, our award-winning hospital, Pioneers Memorial. For more information on all Pioneer services, visit www.pmhd.org today.
Now for some more sports. Wide receiver Brown to miss Chiefs opener. Progress incredible. Wide receiver Marquise Brown, one of the Kansas City Chiefs' biggest offseason additions, will not play in Thursday night's season opener against the Baltimore Ravens. Coach Andy Reid said, quote, Hollywood won't be back this week, and we'll just see how it goes from there. Reid said, but the kid's amazing. I mean, this progress has been incredible, but I wouldn't predict him being there in that first week. Brown dislocated his shoulder on the Chiefs' first offensive play of the preseason. And the sources say the Dolphins extend coach Mike McDaniel through 2028. The Dolphins have agreed to a 3-year extension with the head coach, keeping their head coach in South Florida throughout the 2028 season. McDaniel is entering his 3rd season with the Dolphins and has led them to the playoffs in each of his first 2 years, joining Dave Wannstedt and Don Shula as the only coaches in franchise history to do so. No, that's nice company. After going 26 years without a top 10 offense, Miami has fielded one in each of the past 2 seasons, leading the league in total yards in 2023. Kxo News Time, 7:53. You've been listening to Sports World Roundup. World Roundup. That's what it says. Brought to you by Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District. Log on to pmhd.org for more information about Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District. And we'll be back after this.
Imperial Scoop Factory is here to bring a little sweetness into your life. Get one of their top-of-the-line gelatos or ice cream and melt your worries away. They have all of your favorite flavors, from cookies and cream to dulce de leche, even espresso. Whether you're cooling off from the valley's scorching heat or craving a late-night sweet treat, enjoy the best, day or night. Imperial Scoop Factory, located at the corner of Imperial Avenue and Upperfield Drive inside the Chevron. Imperial Scoop Factory, where every flavor is a masterpiece.
I love gelato. That's fantastic. Let's do some financial news. Today's financial news is brought to you by Southwest Security, a locally owned company that protects you, your home, business, or construction site 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Let's see what we got here. It says, Friday market close. August did its best impression of March this year on Wall Street, blowing in like a lion and going out like a lamb. Stocks closed out their 4th straight month of gains Friday with a broad rally that gained steam in the final hour. All this would have seemed unlikely on August 5th when the S&P 500 index hit 3-month lows as part of a nearly 10% decline from its mid-July peak. The culprit was recession fears based on shaky jobs data, but the market rebounded quickly as economic numbers improved, and the Federal Reserve leaned into a possible September rate cut. The Dow Jones Industrial Average scored a series of new all-time highs the last several days, lifted by a broadening market that features strength in sectors outside of tech and the mega caps. Today's market marked the 4th record DGI close this week. Friday's data soothed investors further, with July's personal consumption expenditure price index up 0.2% month over month. As analysts expected, core PCE, which excluded volatile food and energy, rose 0.2% for the month and 2.6% from a year ago, below the 2.7% consensus, helping firm notions of a 25 basis point Fed rate cut in September. Now, here's a quote. The PCA report confirms that inflation continues to trend lower. In his Jackson Hole speech, Fed Chair Jerome Powell highlighted that his confidence has grown in inflation moving towards the Fed's 2% target, and this supports that case even more. The 3-month annualized change in core PCE fell below 2% for the first time since the end of 2023. Here's what the major benchmarks ended. SPX climbed 56.44 points to 5,648.40, roughly flat for the week. The DGI rose 228.03 points, about 0.55%, up almost 1% for the week. The NASDAQ composite, added 197.19 points, 1.13% to 17,713.62, down nearly 1% from a week ago. The 10-year Treasury note yield climbed 3 basis points to 3.91%, but fell about 20 basis points in August. And the CBOE Volatile Index fell moderately to 14.96, well below levels above 30 recorded earlier this month. Be back after this.
Southwest Security has been protecting properties 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, right here in Imperial and Coachella Valleys. Hi, this is Jason Jackson, owner of Southwest Security. I've been in the private security business for over 25 years and have always made it my mission to always provide my clients with the highest quality security services available. Your satisfaction is my #1 priority. And don't forget Southwest Postal, the only postal center in Imperial Valley with 24/7, 365 access to your post office box. Access when you need it. Located on the corner of 4th and Heil in El Centro.
Just to close that out, those stocks spent much of Friday trading higher. There are signs of consolidation and the rally potentially losing steam. Investors appear to be weighing whether all the positive momentum from earnings and expected Fed rate cuts is priced in. Index breadth of the percentage of stocks trading above long-term averages is improving, but appears to have stalled near current levels. Another headwind could be the season. September is historically one of the worst months of the year for stocks. Though the past isn't precedent, the SPX hasn't posted a September gain since 2019. That said, buying picked up into the close today, which could bode well technically for next week. Still, low pre-holiday volume means convictions could be lacking. Real estate, materials, and industrial led the sector scoreboard Friday, while energy and communications service lagged. The financial news has been brought to you by Southwest Security and Southwest Postal Service, the only postal service box service offering 24-hour a day, 365 days a year service. Southwest Postal at 4th and Heil in El Centro. Very good. That was, let's do a little short weather. Let's talk about the weather really quickly. As we know, it's going to be pretty much the same for days upon days upon days. It feels that way, at least. And, tonight it's going to be a low of 85. Today's high 110. There's no wind really to speak of. 5 miles per hour becoming calm and 10 miles per hour in nighttime. I didn't really mention that earlier because it's not the biggest of deals. Sunday, high 110, Sunday night, low 85. Labor Day, high 110, low 85. Tuesday, high 110, low 85. So it's going to be that way for about the next 4 days, which is fantastic. I'm happy with it. Are you happy with it? I am exactly ecstatic. If you want to go to San Diego, it's going to be about 76 degrees as a high this coming beautiful Saturday, and 78 tomorrow. So that's it. We'll be back in a couple of seconds with some news.
We have a seat for your Friday night high school football game. Join Carol Buckley and John Driftful at the 50-yard line for all the action. High school football on Kxo AM 1230 is brought to you by
McNeese Mart, Rosa's Plain Food, CET, the Center for Employment Training, and Stan's Auto Body.
Best oldies on the radio. KXO, El Centro, on AM 1230. KXO.
It's almost 8 a.m. on August 31st. It is a Saturday, the last day of August. And we're going to be right here listening to some CBS News, which is coming up right now.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by T-Mobile.
I'm Allison Keys. Airports and roads are packed for the unofficial end of summer, but parts of the nation have some challenges on the radar. Kelly Cass is at the Weather Channel.
We do have storms to track, not only in the Northeast, but down through the Ohio Valley, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. But if you're on the other side of the front, beautiful weather for places like Minneapolis for your state fair, Chicago, looking at much better weather as well. And therefore, no travel issues are expected for today.
If you're flying, though, expect crowded flights. CBS's Roxana Saberi with more.
At the nation's airports, millions of passengers are squeezing in one last trip of the summer.
We're traveling to Minnesota to see my brother.
The TSA expects to continue its record-breaking summer by screening over 17 million travelers this Labor Day weekend.
Turning now to the Middle East, where the UN is launching a campaign to vaccinate some 640,000 children against polio. CBS's MTS Tayab reports.
UN health officials have been pushing for this pause in the fighting, which Israel and Hamas have both agreed to, but Israeli leaders have said the military will still carry out strikes in areas where polio vaccinations are not being administered, and that these pauses are not connected to the stalled ceasefire talks with Hamas.
Former President Trump is getting pushback from some conservative groups over his changing positions on abortion. First, he said Florida's 6-week abortion ban is too short. Then he changed his mind. He also says he will vote against an abortion rights ballot initiative. CBS's Natalie Brandt explains.
As a Florida resident, he will be voting this November on whether to overturn the ban.
Friday, he clarified his position following the backlash, telling Fox News he would oppose the measure.
So I think 6 weeks, you need more time than 6 weeks. I've disagreed with that right from the early primaries. When I heard about it, I disagreed with it.
If you aren't partying for the holiday, you might want to catch some Z's. CBS News correspondent Michael George explains.
If you catch up on sleep on the weekends, it turns out you're helping lower your risk of heart disease. A study by the European Society of Cardiology found people who don't get enough sleep during the week but get more sleep on the weekends had a 19% lower chance of heart disease. Ideally, though, doctors say you should get at least 7 hours of sleep every night.
People at Atlantic City casinos can still smoke after a ruling from a New Jersey judge, but casino workers who have been battling for a smoke-free work environment say they will keep fighting. The ruling was a victory for the casino industry, which warns that thousands of jobs and millions in gambling revenue and taxes could be lost if smoking were banned. This is CBS News.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Get the savings you want on America's largest 5G network. Visit T-Mobile.com/choice5G and start saving today.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Are the skies becoming friendlier?
Are airline passengers becoming better behaved? The FAA has reported that it sent only 43 cases of unruly, disruptive, or downright violent airline passenger behavior to the FBI over the last year. The airlines had reported more than 1,200 cases, but that figure is down 80% from 2021, when there were more than 6,000 cases reported. So why the drop? Fewer first-time travelers than during the pandemic, when airfares were so low. No mask rules being enforced. And finally, a surprise reason. While airlines are now back serving alcohol on board, there are fewer passengers pre-gaming their flights at the airport, drinking at bars, and then boarding their flights already inebriated. Peter Greenberg, travel editor, CBS News.
A Massachusetts 12-year-old is getting some help from his community after town officials told him to shut down his ice cream stand. Now the boy has raised nearly $20,000 for charity. Allison Keys, CBS News.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's Aaron Atadero on AM 1230.
Hey, Aaron. Where is Aaron right now? Why didn't you answer me the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
AM 1230, the best oldies on the radio.
1230.